presentations, and we're going to start with Mary Kay. She's not telling me.
Hi, my name is Dr. Mary Kay Baray, and this is what education looks like right now. It's a huge bundle of mixed up policies, the worst of which is Common Core. And there are all kinds of strings attached to Common Core. I've been fighting Common Core since the spring of 2012. And I'm a math education professor at Mercer University. I did a study of all the math standards, and I made a spreadsheet that shows everything from kindergarten to 8th grade. It compares our GPS standards with the Common Core standards. They are so far behind. They're 1 to 2 years behind. They're behind international standards. So in a couple of years, we're not going to be doing well on international tests. And then what are people going to say? Oh, it must be the teachers, it must be the parents, it must be the students. No, it's none of that. It's the standards. Some other parts, we have grant applications, race to the top. When I was a professor at St. Thomas University, I had a grant from the U.S. Department of Education and Technology. I know what it's like to work with the U.S. Department of Education on a grant, and I know why we shouldn't do that. So that's one piece I can try and figure out. Another piece is assessment. Because I have a doctorate in education, I know about assessment. I know about school law, about school finance. I've taken tests and been certified in those things. And the way we do assessment right now is not directly reporting our student scores, student achievement. Student achievement only has to count for a little bit over 50% of what our school report card shows. For the first time ever, we no longer know how our students are doing. The tests are different. We don't have the same standards, so we don't have the same tests. So we can't even gauge how far we've fallen.
3 minutes.
Yep, and
Yeah.
time up?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, look over at me, guys. If I start waving at you a little bit, that would be kind of like the 10-second wrap it up. We also have a showtime at the Apollo-style hook, if you go over to it. The next candidate is Nancy Jester.
Is this your phone?
Yeah, is it ringing?
No, I just put my stuff on it.
Oh, it's a flash flood one.
Thank you all for coming. It's delightful to be here today, and I know you care deeply about the subject because you came out on such a terrible day. So thank you for that, and thanks to Greg and to Kat for hosting this. So I'm Nancy Jester. I'm running for State School Superintendent because I want to improve the educational lives of Georgia's children and provide a vastly increased value for the taxpayers. We spend a lot of money. It's the largest single item in the state budget. We spend in the top 10 in aggregate on education. Every state that borders us spends less per pupil than we do. Every state that borders us has a higher graduation rate than we do, and many metrics that outperform our students. We have plenty of money. It's not about the money. So anytime people start using the word invest and start taking you down that path, just know that. We spend in the top 10, we spend more per pupil than every state that borders us, but we're getting poor results. Why is that? Well, the money drives results, and our money is being misspent. Okay, it's being misallocated. That's why the tagline for my campaign is more classroom, less bureaucracy. We've had a 42% increase in student enrollment since from 2009 from 1992 through 2009. Correspondingly, we had a 74% increase in administrative costs. That's just not sustainable, and that's not what the taxpayers want for their money. They want it to go to the classroom, to the teachers, and so we have to implement what I call a financial integrity system. I'm going to give you two numbers. 0. That is the number of financial integrity measurements the state of Georgia imposes on its school district. I'm going to give you another number, 20. That is the number of financial integrity measures the state of Texas uses to accredit their schools from a financial perspective and give true disclosure to the citizens and the taxpayers of their state. They range from everything from pupil size, from the amount of teachers per pupil. That's part of their financial integrity measurement that drives to the money to the classroom. So I'm getting the wave. So that's what I'm going to bring, financial integrity. I'm Nancy Jester. You can visit my website at nancyjester.com to learn more about me. And I'm sure we'll talk more about this issue. Thank you.
Next candidate for state superintendent is Fitz Johnson. I think what I'm going to not do a wave, I'm going to do the tomahawk chop. Just go brave.
I'll try to keep under my 3 minutes. Thank you so much for braving the weather and coming out today. My name is Fitz Johnson, and I'm running for state superintendent because I believe that every child here in Georgia deserves a quality education, and it's on us. It's incumbent upon us as community leaders. It's upon us as parents, guardians, what have you. Whoever's responsible for that child's education needs to be involved. There's a couple things. My background, I went to the Citadel, Military College, South Carolina. Spent 21 years in the military on active duty in the reserves. I have a law degree from the University of Kentucky College of Law. Spent 15 years running a business. So I've got both sides of the coin. I've been in the education world. I'm a sports nut, so I've coached kids for 30 years, coaching soccer, coaching wrestling, coaching football. Currently a community coach over at Willis High School. The things that we got to concentrate on for me is one is we got to make sure our legislature, our governor, our state board of education, and our state school superintendent are all on the same sheet of music. Let's get all of those on the same sheet of music so that our kids get to achieve more by making sure that we're all on the same sheet. And that involves all of us right in here. It involves our community. And that's why it's that important. You'll see my disclosure, and yes, I said to them, you've loaned some money to your campaign. Yes, I have, because it is that important to me to get this job and get us going in the right direction. You can see my Achieve More plan is going to come out on my website on Monday afternoon, fitzjohnson.us. And again, thank you for coming out. I'll be here to answer questions.
The next candidate for state superintendent in Georgia is Matt Schultz, Bartow County. We probably drove the farthest to get here through a hailstorm.
Well, I just appreciate having the opportunity to be here. Did brave the weather, but it's important. It's an important race, and I just thank you very much for that. You know, I'm in this race because this is just the next step for me. Most of my career has been about service. When I graduated from high school, I went into the Marine Corps and used my GI Bill money to go to West Georgia and get a degree in education. I taught high school for 3 years, government and economics and U.S. history, and coached football and basketball. I had an opportunity to go run a nonprofit, and that's why I left education as a teacher. But shortly after that, I served as a local school council member at the high school where I was a teacher at, and now I'm in my 3rd term on the school board in Bartow County. So what I can tell you, this is something I'm very passionate about. My father's a retired teacher and administrator. My wife is a teacher, and she does professional development training, teaching teachers all over the United States about how to be better. And we have 3 children in public school. My daughter is in high school, I have a son in middle school, and then we have a 5-year-old in kindergarten. So we understand how important this is. We live it every day in our house, and what I can tell you is we can do better. Georgia, I think we've made a lot of progress, but we can do better. And for me, the areas that I think are critical for us is we have to get our funding formula solved. Right, we can't sustain it currently where it's at. We have to do better in terms of making sure that we're preparing kids to be college and career ready. And I think we also have to make sure that the technology gains we've seen in the metro area, we expand that to our schools in rural Georgia too. So those are the things that I care about, and I look forward to talking with you more.
Oh, perfect. That's great. And the next candidate for state superintendent in Georgia is Willis. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you all? Good. I won't waste my 3 minutes asking again. Again, my name is Kira Willis. I'm also running for state school superintendent. I am a product of public school, an educator in public school, and a parent whose children attend public school. I stand for school choice. I believe that a child's educational prospects should not be limited to that child's zip code. I believe in restoring teacher and parent relations, and I think that's really important. What we've gotten because of a lot of things is we've got these fingers pointing at each other and blaming other people, and what we really need to do is understand that we're all here for our kids. And what can we do to work together, community, business people, teachers, administration, parents, all of us to come together to do what's best for our children. I also, the QBE has been touched on, funding has been touched on. I don't think we should have to have a master's in finance to be able to understand our school funding. I think we need to streamline that so that the average Georgian can understand it, see exactly where their money is going, and appreciate it for what it is. Because right now it's a bit nebulous, and I'd like to see where the money exactly is going. I'm not a fan of Common Core. I believe in teaching children. I don't believe in teaching standards. I think we need to understand that everybody learns on different levels, and that our job as educators is to pull the children, push from the bottom and push from the top. Pull the students up who are low and get them there, and then get the students who are already there and push them even farther. And I don't think that Common Core helps us with that. Thank you very much. I'm Kira Willis, KiraWillis.com.
And there's the final candidate, Richard Woods, and he was not able to make it. He had a previous commitment. He apologized. I've met him before. He's a very sincere man, and we're sorry that he can't be here. Roger Hines is going to speak for a couple minutes about him. Roger will not be participating in the Q&A forum, but I did want to give Richard the opportunity to have somebody speak on behalf of his campaign. So, Roger Hines. Another Wheeler guy. So Fitt's a Wheeler. I was Wheeler. And you
See what a good teacher I was. Well, I didn't really teach him. He came along after I left.
Corporal punishment.
Good to run into a Cobb County guy. Folks, I live in Kennesaw, and I got to know Richard Woods in 2012 when he and I were competitors for this position. I ran for school superintendent in 2012. Got to know the man, loved him to death for two reasons. Number one, his character, and number two, experience. If I had to choose, and this is unrealistic, but if I had to choose between my kids being good or smart, I would choose good. So on the character side, A-okay. But experience, Richard worked in Irwin County for 22 years. He's been a curriculum director, classroom teacher, and coach. He has done all sorts of things in the field of education. Now, I'm a sucker for words, but these are not suckering words on his website. I just got to tell you what you ought to look at on Woods for Super. Less testing, more teaching. Richard is not a friend of Common Core, and I'm not even. Folks, I have followed that thing. It was not initiated by educators. It was initiated by governors and their chiefs of staff. Really, we got a need there that is so big. I hope you'll check out Contract with Georgia on Woods for Super. You will really find out Richard's heart there, and I wish that you would check out what he says about right time, right person, right experience. And a great guy. I got to know him so well. My wife got to know him too. He has spent some time with us as he has been campaigning in the north part of the state. He's at Augusta today, as was said, and he really regrets that he cannot be here. But please check the man out, Richard Woods for State School Superintendent. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Linda for letting me have
Mrs. Chairman, I'm merely the moderator.
Yeah, okay. And thank you for letting me be here. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hines.